Hey everyone, and welcome back to Talk Tickers. You know we love getting into the nitty-gritty of earnings calls.
And we've got a good one today.
We do. Fresh off the press, Allbirds Q3 2024 call just dropped yesterday.
Lots to unpack.
There is. So we're going to be looking at, the numbers, of course.
Yeah.
But also their strategy, especially all the moves they're making with product development and their marketing.
Definitely some interesting trends emerging there.
All right, so let's dive right into it. When you first looked at this earnings report, what jumped out at you?
Well, the first thing that caught my eye was the revenue. They came in at $43 million for Q3,
Okay.
which is a year-over-year decrease. And to be honest, that wasn't really a surprise.
Yeah, not a huge shocker. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been pretty open about some of the challenges they've been facing.
Right.
So did they break down why that dip happened?
They did, and it seems like a few factors are at play here. So first of all, they've been closing some stores as part of their streamlining strategy.
Right.
They've also shifted to a distributor model in some international markets. Okay.
And overall, they just sold fewer units.
Gotcha. So a combo of planned changes some global market stuff and just, selling less stuff overall. Not the most exciting news, but at least they're being transparent about it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think investors appreciate that honesty.
Totally. So revenue's down, but what about the bottom line? Any good news there?
Actually, yes. Their gross margin actually expanded to 44.4%.
Okay, so even though they sold less, they're actually making more profit on each item they're selling.
Exactly.
That's encouraging.
Yeah. And it seems like lower freight costs and a healthier inventory position are helping boost that margin.
Makes sense. Lower costs usually means higher profits.
Right. Plus, their adjusted EBITDA loss is narrowing, which is even better than they initially projected.
Wow. So they're exceeding expectations on that front.
It seems
So financially, it's like a mixed bag. But there are definitely some positive signs. But, for me, what really caught my attention was this decision to go back to basics.
Yeah, they're focused on comfort and versatility.
Yeah.
Really doubling down on what they do best. Right. I remember when Allbirds first came out, it was all about those super comfy, sustainable shoes.
Yeah.
It feels like they're kind of reclaiming that niche.
Absolutely. And their recent launches, like the Tree Glider and the Lounger Lift, seem to be hitting the mark.
I've heard good things about the Tree Glider especially.
Yeah, me too.
It's a really comfortable shoe. So they're having some early wins, but it sounds like they're not stopping there.
Not at all. What's really fascinating is they're building towards a full product lineup refresh in the second half of 2025.
Whoa, a complete product reboot is on the horizon.
That's what they're aiming for.
That's a bold move, especially with all the other changes they're making.
It is, but it makes sense. Remember those criticisms they faced about straying too far from their core?
Uh-huh.
This feels like a direct response to that. They're playing to their strengths, and, they're also playing into that growing consumer demand for sustainable products.
So they're tightening up operations, going back to their roots, and getting ready to unveil a whole new lineup.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is. But you know what else really stood out to me? Their marketing strategy.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just making new shoes. They're getting really creative with how they're telling their story.
Absolutely. This partnership with OBB Media is super interesting. They're known for their viral campaigns.
Right. OBB Media. I've seen their stuff.
Yeah. And the fact that Allbirds is partnering with them to create a premium digital content series is a huge departure from traditional advertising.
Yeah, we're talking longer form videos, really deep dives into their process, pulling back the curtain.
Right.
Which is kind of bold in a world that's so obsessed with TikTok length attention spans.
It is. It's like they're saying, hey, we believe in the power of quality content to build a deeper connection with our audience.
Smart move.
Mm-hmm.
So new products, fresh marketing, anything else they've got up their sleeve.
Oh, definitely. Don't forget about their partnerships. Allbirds is teaming up with some big names, and it's a strategic move to expand their reach.
Like who?
We'll take their collaboration with Uber Eats for their climate collection, for example.
Yeah, but becoming the first footwear partner for that is genius. It taps right into a new eco-conscious customer base.
Exactly.
And they're really walking the walk when it comes to sustainability.
All right, and don't forget about their team up with Marriott Bonvoy for a sweepstakes.
Yeah.
That's a great way to get in front of a wider travel-oriented audience.
So many partnerships.
Right. All these partnerships show that Allbirds is really thinking outside the box.
I love that. So we've got a company in transition, some intriguing hints about the future.
Mm-hmm.
What's your big picture takeaway so far? What should our listeners be paying attention to?
Well, what's fascinating is that Allbirds is clearly in a rebuilding phase.
Okay.
They're streamlining operations, doubling down on product development, getting creative with their marketing and all of this, while sticking to their commitment to sustainability.
Right.
It's a lot to take on at once.
So a lot of moving pieces, but a clear vision. The second half of 2025 seems like the real make or break moment, right?
Absolutely. That's when their new product lineup drops, and we'll really see if their strategy pays off. The next 12 months are going to be key in setting the stage for that.
It's going to be an exciting ride for sure. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's take a closer look at their sustainability efforts because, let's be honest, that's a big part of what makes Allbirds, well, Allbirds.
You're right. That's a whole other layer to the story, and it's one that deserves its own deep dive.
Yeah, it really is. You know, for a lot of companies, sustainability is like this trendy buzzword, but Allbirds has been weaving it into their DNA since the very beginning.
For sure. It's not just a marketing tactic. It's at the core of who they are.
Exactly. And you see it in everything they do.
Yeah.
From the materials they choose to their manufacturing processes.
Totally. I mean, remember how we talked about their gross margin expanding?
Yeah.
Part of that is because they're getting so much smarter about their supply chains.
Absolutely.
Sourcing sustainable materials, reducing waste. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're really trying to optimize everything. All right, so they're making more money. A&D shrinking their environmental footprint. Love to see it.
It's a win-win for sure. And they just released their latest sustainability report, by the way.
Oh, yeah. How'd they do?
The numbers are really good. They've managed to reduce their carbon footprint per unit by 22%.
22%.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's significant.
It shows they're really serious about this.
They are. And remember that game changer we mentioned earlier?
The what?
The M0.0 NSHIC0.
Oh, yeah. The world's first net zero carbon shoe.
That one.
That was a big deal, right? Didn't even make it onto Time Magazine's list of best inventions.
It did. It made the list.
It's such a powerful statement. Like, they're not just trying to minimize their impact.
Right.
They're going for a completely carbon neutral product. That's next level.
Absolutely. It's pushing the boundaries.
They're not just making shoes. They're shaping the future of sustainable fashion.
Yeah. And I think it also speaks to this growing demand from consumers for transparency and accountability. Totally. People want to know where their products are coming from, how they're made, and what impact they have.
Right.
Allbirds is giving them that information up front.
And they're backing it up with action.
Okay, so we've covered their financials, their product strategy, their marketing, and now their commitment to sustainability.
We've covered a lot.
We have. You got to hand it to them. Allbirds is a company with a clear mission.
Yeah, they're really trying to make a difference.
Okay, so we've dissected Allbirds' Q3 earnings call. We've explored their vision for the future, and we've dug into their sustainability efforts. Now you're ready for the fun part.
Let's do it.
Time to put on our speculative hats and dive into the "This is not financial advice" segment.
All right. Remember, folks, this is purely hypothetical and for entertainment purposes only.
We are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice.
Always consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Disclaimer out of the way. Let's get those creative juices flowing. We've spent the last little while analyzing Allbirds. What wild but potentially profitable trade idea can we cook up based on all this information?
Okay, let's think big here.
Okay.
We know Allbirds is betting big on this back half 2025 product relaunch.
Right.
They're banking on these new products, especially that net zero shoe, to really drive growth and solidify their position as like the sustainable footwear brand.
Okay, so how do we translate that into a potential trading opportunity? What's our angle here?
What if we get a little crazy?
I'm listening.
And consider a long-dated call option that expires sometime after that crucial second half of 2025.
I like where you're going with this.
Yeah.
A call option betting on a significant price jump once those new products hit the market.
Exactly, especially if that M0.0 NSHIC0 takes off like we think it could.
High risk, high reward. If Allbirds knocks it out of the park, that stock price could soar, and that call option could be worth a lot.
A lot. We'd be looking at a massive return.
It's a gamble, but it's a calculated one. We're saying we believe in Allbirds' ability to really innovate and capture market share with these new products.
And that consumers are willing to pay a premium for those products.
Exactly. This isn't just about shoes. It's about tapping into a cultural shift.
Right. More and more people are prioritizing sustainability.
Allbirds is positioned to capitalize on that.
Yeah, but let's be real for a second.
Okay.
There's also the risk that the relaunch doesn't go as planned or the market doesn't react as enthusiastically as we're hoping.
Sure.
That option could expire worthless.
We could lose everything.
We could.
That's the risk we take.
Right. It's purely speculative.
It is. We're betting on a catalyst, basically.
Right. In this case, the product relaunch and that sustainability halo effect.
We're placing a bet on its success.
Exactly.
But folks, in the real world, we would need to consider all sorts of factors,
Like what?
like the strike price of the option,
Mhm.
the overall market conditions, our own risk tolerance, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Don't just run out and buy a long-dated call option on Allbirds because you heard it here.
Please don't.
This is not financial advice.
Always do your own research consult with a professional.
Okay, disclaimer hammered home.
Good.
Now that we've had some fun speculating, let's bring it back to reality and recap the key takeaways from Allbirds' Q3 earnings call.
Sounds good.
So Allbirds is at a pivotal point. Their Q3 results show a company in transition.
Right.
They're restructuring, refocusing, revitalizing their brand,
Streamlining operations.
doubling down on product development, especially in the sustainability realm,
Yeah.
and getting really creative with their marketing.
All while staying true to their mission of creating a better, more sustainable future for footwear.
It's a tall order.
It is.
The next 12 months are going to be critical. We'll see if their efforts translate into real results.
Yeah, and the second half of 2025 is the real test.
When that new product lineup, including the M0.0 NSHIC0 hits the market,
Exactly.
it's going to be fascinating to watch. Will Allbirds regain its position as like a top player in the sustainable footwear space?
Who knows? Only time will tell.
It's a great question, though.
Way.
And that's what makes following the market so interesting.
Right. It's always changing.
Full of surprises, opportunities. It keeps us on our toes.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive with a final thought-provoking question for our listeners.
Let's do it.
Do you believe Allbirds has what it takes to not only regain its footing, but to truly thrive in this really competitive world of footwear? What would it take for them to not just survive, but excel?
Good question.
Think about their strengths, their challenges, those ever-changing demands of the market, and that sustainability factor. Is that going to be the key to their success?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
Yeah, it's a tough balance for sure.
Yeah, it is. But like you said, if they can pull it off, it could be huge.
Huge for them and for the planet.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that just about wraps up our deep dive into Allbirds' Q3 2024 earnings call.
Another one down.
We covered a lot today.
We did.
From their financials to their product roadmap,
Yep.
their marketing, their sustainability initiatives.
Even that crazy hypothetical trade idea with the long-dated call option,
Which again, folks, is not
financial advice.
at all. Please,
Consult with a professional.
always do your own research.
Sure. But hopefully it at least got you thinking.
Yeah, sparks some ideas.
Maybe you look at things a little differently. So thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into
Another earnings call.
another exciting earnings call.
Stay tuned.
Stay curious, stay informed, and as always,
Happy investing, everyone.